Beautiful morning and welcome to my classroom. I have here today a water test kit. It's made by Lamont. I'll put a link on my webpage to how to get it off Amazon. One of the things I like to do to make my learning for my students real is to give them something that's purposeful. I'm high in the mountains and I got this little beautiful mountain stream rolling by. I'm going to do a little water testing up here to see how this water is, the cleanliness of the water. We're going to use this kit, so I'm going to dump everything out. When you buy the kit, it comes with a packet in the middle that's all bundled up. I never used that one. It's called BOD, and it's designed to test for human waste. I just threw it away because I never use it, and if I do use it, what's inside becomes toxic, and I have to dispose of it properly. Don't need to go there, don't want to go there, so throw that away if you want. I got a package full of different pills that chemically react to show what's in the water. And we're going to do several tests here today. You'll have these tall vials, and you'll have this itty-bitty short vial. I'm going to start with the short one. It measures dissolved oxygen, so I'm going to fill this bottle right up to the very top. When I'm with my students, they're doing all of this, not me. They're filling the bottles and they're dropping the pills in. Yes, okay. Bottle. On the back of the label here it says DO, dissolved oxygen. Animals of any sort that live in water, whether they be fish or macroinvertebrates, there has to be oxygen in the water. Depending on the amount of oxygen will determine what type of macroinvertebrates and fish are going to be healthy in there. So I drop in 2 pills. They're all in the instructions. The little bottle's the only one that takes 2. Shake it up, let them dissolve. I'm just going to set that aside while it reacts. I'm going to take another bottle, one of the tall ones, and I'm going to fill it up too. There's a line right there. You've got instructions, so don't worry about it. And this one I'm going to put one of these phosphate pills in. Phosphates, if you've ever fertilized your garden, is one of the fertilizers we like. Phosphates is a good thing unless I get too much. It's kind of like if I spill fertilizer in one spot on my garden. I've got dead lawn, not extra green lawn. So phosphates occur naturally in a stream up here if anything decaying gets into the water. And yeah, we've got decay. It's the mountains, it's nature. So I would expect some decay, but if I get too much, then it's not healthy for the stream anymore. I'm going to take another bottle. I'm going to fill it up. See that upper line? And this time, EO. I want pH. pH will measure acids and bases in the water. And it's a great thing to work with your kids and teach them what pH means, and they can test all kinds of things. You can buy pH strips, the same you use in a hot tub and such. They work great too. These just come with the kit, and it'll tell me if it's acid or base. 7 is neutral, it's what I want, but if I get a little bit of a acid or base, in other words, it can go from 7 to 8 or down to 6. 8 means it's slightly on the acidic side, 6 means it's slightly acidy, but still workable. And if you're a gardener, you know that certain types of plants like a little more acidic soil. Some like it a little more alkaline. My last bottle, I'm only going to fill halfway. The instructions come with the kit. But I'll tell you the way I remember them. Oh, there it is. Everything is full. Every bottle is full except nitrates. And I remember that because it's half day and half night. Nitrates, half. Drop that in, let it react. Nitrates is another natural substance that will react, that will be created when things decay. You're more likely to find phosphates than nitrates when you're testing. All right, in the kit, you'll have these little strips which go on the outside. They measure temperature. Then I just put it deep enough in the water, not deep enough there. I put it deep enough in the water so that they're underwater, but I can still read them, and they just change colors. Cold mountain stream, temperature is 10 degrees. Now, I hope you teach your children the difference between Celsius and Fahrenheit. If this was 10 degrees Fahrenheit, it would be ice. So it's 10 degrees Celsius, which probably work out to be somewhere in the 40s, 40-degree water. And if I took my shoes off and did a little wading, which I've been known to do, yeah, it's cold. It's cold in a big hurry. All right. I try to have my kids do as much of this as possible. Inside of the kit is a card, and it says pH, dissolved oxygen, nitrates, phosphates. It is laminated because it's likely to get wet. You have enough tests in here to do 12 different tests. I like to choose a high mountain location. Then I like to go down further, test it again. I like to test it if I know this stream is going to flow through my town. I like to test it before it goes into town, after it leaves town, drive out into the farm fields and test it again as it goes past all of the farms and cattle and fertilizers and such, and see if they're adding too much to the water and if things are still looking good. So you can make those choices, but it gives me a chance to visit a lot of places and see a lot of things. So this is my DO, dissolved oxygen. I'm going to do a little video later on talking about what parts per million mean. I've got a good way to demonstrate that. So watch for the video dealing with parts per million. But I just simply take this DO and I give it about 5 minutes to react. The part that says dissolved oxygen, I hold it up against it and I compare the color of it. And I'm thinking it's a 4 ppm. Right now my students have their field journals out. They'd be marking down DO, 4 ppm, 4 parts per million. All right. Let's look at pH. Again, I said pH perfect is a 7. That's neutral. 6 is slightly acidic. 8 is slightly alkaline. And I match the colors up, and it's an 8. This is slightly alkaline up here. Nothing that puts anybody into a panic, but slightly alkaline. By the way, I've tested at this same spot on numerous occasions, and 8's what I get up here. So it's not an unusual thing, but it's what I get up here. Okay, this one was my phosphates. Phosphates occur when things decay. And I look for the phosphate here, I match it up, I look for the color that matches, and it looks like about a 2. So there is phosphate in the water, but nothing that's extreme. That's 2 ppm, 2 parts per million. Another video talks about what that means. This is the nitrates, because it's half. Nitrates are supposed to turn some kind of a pink, and this one is yellow. I actually called Lamont and asked them, I get yellow all the time, I hardly ever get pink. Do I have bad pills? Do I have old pills? And they said, no, you just don't have enough nitrate to react with the water, so we're going to call it zero nitrates. And typically what I find up here is the dissolved oxygen is about 4 typically, which surprises me a little bit. I expected higher, but seems to work. The temperature I've seen as low as 8, but I've never seen it higher than 10, so it's cold water all the time. There is a test for turbidity, but I never use it here because the water is totally clear. If I'm out on a wetland, I'll use turbidity. What else did I use? Phosphates, I typically find measurable phosphates about 2. My pH is typically up here 8, slightly acidic, slightly alkaline, DO. So anyway, it's a fun little test. One last thing, stewardship. Now that these are empty, I've reacted. How do I empty them? I pretend with the kids, should I just dump it in the water? And they go, no, I don't think we should do that. How about just dump it on the ground? The rule I tell them is if it didn't come from nature, I don't leave it in nature. I don't know if anything's harmful in here, but it should not be just dumped out up here. We should take it back, dump it down a sink, let it react. The big round ones that you hopefully don't use, can if you want, I never use them because they are, if they react, it's toxic and I can't just throw it down the sink anymore. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed class today and find a use for that kit, especially getting your kids out various locations to do some water testing, monitor, and you may find water testing that there's a problem in your city or community that then you can turn around, report, and have them track down what's going on because you helped. Thank you for attending class.